Today's episode is brought to you by Slater's 50/50 and To a T Fitness.
Everything sequel contains explicit language. And why the fudge not, you melon farmer?
Look, people, we're living in strange times. We know that, don't we? Of course we do. People don't even know what to do with themselves. We're getting stir crazy. Well, get outside and get yourself some great food, I say. You need to go to Slater's 50/50 in Point Loma's Liberty Station. It's time to treat yourself to booze, to beer, to burgers, and more. They have their full menu, people. Their full menu, I say. How many restaurants do you know that are doing that? Most places are doing a quarter of their menu, probably. Some might be doing a half. Maybe a few have got 3/4 of a menu. But Slater's 50/50 has their full menu, including their signature 50/50 patty. It's half ground beef. It's half ground bacon. It's 100% delicious. What more could you possibly ask? Worried about social distancing? Well, it is in place, people. Tables are separated and the staff will always be seen wearing masks. You're out of excuses. Get off your keister and come on down to Liberty Station's own Slater's 50/50. Indoor dining available. Outdoor dining available. Bring the family. Bring your dog. Come enjoy the normal again. Good day to you. I said good day. Hello and welcome to the Everything Sequel podcast. It's FOC. That means free of charge. My name is Michael Shantz. I'm of the How Dare You Awards. With me is Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions, and this is a Minisode. We are going to announce our next movie. Tom, how you doing?
Blood! Oh, godmother! Blood! Blood!
The number of times that comes up.
That is the
in this
unofficial
particular
catchphrase
series
of the Psycho franchise. That is said
So,
verbatim every single time Norman murders someone.
yeah, exactly right.
No variation of any kind.
The jig is up, everyone. The next movie is the Psycho series. We are doing the Psycho edition. It's the right time for it, right, Tom? It's October now, so it's time for the Psycho. Now, well, let me ask you this.
Yes.
You pitched Psycho to me, and I got very excited. But this is our first October together on Everything Sequel.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like the go-to series that we would have gone to. Why are we both so excited about this?
Well, your excitement was premature. I don't think when I pitched it to you, I gave you any indication that this was going to be good. I just thought it would be cleverer than, well, I mean, you know, the amount of the amount of time we'd have to spend doing a Nightmare on Elm Street or a Halloween or a Friday the 13th is just ludicrous at this point. So I partly because it is just 3 films, and then also partly because once I kind of tuned into these movies, I was like, this goes back to a lot of what we've been talking about, but it also kind of it's another level of what we've been talking about with regards to sequels.
Okay, I'm excited. I mean, you're right. Obviously, we're going to have to get to these franchise sequels at some point.
We're probably going to have to do them in stages, right? I mean,
I don't know.
Because there would be big parts of the year we would have to dedicate to Friday the 13th. It'd be the following Halloween by the time we're done with them. I don't know if our listenership is quite ready for that kind of
I think that they should be at least on par with us. If I'm going to have to watch like 73 Friday the 13th movies, they should have to listen to what I have to say about them.
Well, that's certainly true, but I suspect they will disagree. with the by refusing to put their earphones in their
Well, it
ears.
is FOC, free of charge, which for me was the other catchphrase for Psycho. Norman Bates's fascination with giving away a hotel room, FOC.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I mean. Say what we'll get to Psycho 2 and how Dennis Franz ran the place, but I prefer his business model to Norman's.
Dennis Franz, he is fantastic.
He's got a good idea of what his guest wants.
He certainly knows, yeah, exactly. He knows what his guests want, and at the very least, he seems to know how to bring people into a remote hotel nowhere near anything.
He's one of those state mental institution appointed managers that we all dream of
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
in our
right.
business.
That's one of my notes for Psycho 2, but we'll get to it. But before we even get there, Tom, we're gonna rank these movies and we gotta declare them good or bad. Not an easy task for me. I don't know about you. Go ahead.
Well, it's the good or bad is very easy for me.
See, it wasn't for
because
me, actually. It was not for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. That was a foregone conclusion for me. Ranking them was where the it started to get a little trickier.
Well, let's go. Let's just hop right into it. What was your ranking for the Psycho series?
Well, I agonized over this because
Let me ask you this, because for me,
yeah.
number 2 far outweighs 3 and 4, so that part was easy for me.
Okay, well, we have very different opinions about these
Oh,
movies then.
fantastic! How did I know that Tom would have a different ranking?
How did you know that Tom would put 3 at the top of his ranking,
Oh,
as
God.
he has
See, I was
done
just gonna
with
say-
virtually every series so far?
I was just gonna say that you probably went straight to 4. You baffle me so much with our rankings that I figured you went 4. But you're going 3 first?
Yeah, three, followed by 2,
Okay.
and 4 is at the bottom.
I labored between 3 and 4. I think by a country mile, number 2 is the best.
Interesting.
We'll have to talk about it.
We definitely
I-
will. We
I
have
thi-
to have an intervention about this, Mike.
No, well, for you, yes, not for
Yes.
me. I'm right.
Right. Well, we'll both intervene each other. How
All right,
about
fine. I'll agree to that. Between 3 and 4, I had kind of a difficult time. And here's the funny part. I really shouldn't have a difficult time. I even told you a day or so ago, I read somewhere that Stephen King really loved Psycho 4 and thought it was by far the best in the series. And I got really excited and thought, I don't know if I've ever seen Psycho 4, or if I had, I'd forgotten it. And I watched Psycho 4 less than 6 months ago.
Right.
And then you said you wanted to do the Psycho series next, and I was like, oh, I think that's a great idea. And then I realized I can't remember a single frame from Psycho 4, and I saw it within the last 6 months. That doesn't bode
I said
well.
it then, and I'll say it now. You lucky son of a bitch for
Yeah.
that day
Right.
that you had that temporary amnesia.
And yet, I'm not going to say I can see why Stephen King loves it, but I think, there's so much about that movie that should just be, that is like bad storytelling. And yet I found it's like watching a car crash. I was so interested in that movie.
Oh, I'll give you that. Yeah. It's certainly compelling in terms of the number of questions I wrote down as I was watching it.
Oh my God. Yeah, I can't disagree. So look, listen, I'm babbling on and on. At the end of the day, I went in order. I think it's 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
But 3 and 4, kind of like the Die Hard series, like it was razor thin for me. It was hard because it's um, trying to pick the least smelly piece of shit.
It's, yeah, it's about to me. It's
And
this thing
that's
of you have to start
unkind.
with which mistake is more egregious.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And
And
yeah,
that's
it's
that's how I eventually came down to, which because let's just set this up a little bit for our listeners because I don't know how familiar people are with this franchise.
probably not very.
We've talked before about extraneous sequels to movies that stand up perfectly well on their own and don't need any kind of continuation. If
Hmm.
that's true for Jaws, then this is another level because the first of these sequels is 20 plus years after
Right,
the release of the original, and then we get 3 sequels in under 10 years,
right.
all of which contradict the original and each other,
Correct.
all of which are obsessed with Alfred Hitchcock, uh, where but are impossible to imagine existing when he was alive.
Yes.
And this this is an absolutely absurd set of circumstances, and that's Psycho 4. The subtitle is the beginning, and it was the beginning. Following these sequels, we had a shot-for-shot remake and a TV series. This is a property that, for some reason, even though it is universally acknowledged that Psycho is one of the most frame-for-frame perfect pieces of cinema that exists, Hitchcock, one of the
Right,
greatest
right.
directors of cinema. It's the most definitive horror movie, I think, ever. Certainly one of the 2 or 3. And yet, this is a property that people keep wanting to revive, resurrect. And I do wonder whether in the end it comes down to property. They have this set.
Yeah, right. They have
The
right.
Bates Motel set is. I wonder how much that is driving their decisions to make
Well,
these
and it's not
sequels.
just that because sometimes, they have the set, and then on top of that, it's like how we got the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans was just because Sony didn't want to give up the property, and it's like if you didn't make a movie within a couple of years, they would lose the rights, and so it kind of has
Yeah,
that feeling too, like you have to make something or it goes somewhere else, and they don't want to give up the property.
yeah,
I don't know if that's
yeah.
true.
Let
I'm
let
just
it
saying.
let it be tainted by our
Yeah,
hands, not
exactly.
someone
Yeah, it's
else's.
I don't know if that's true, but it feels as though it's true.
I mean, Alfred Hitchcock died, I think, at 1980,
Yeah,
very
around
close
there.
to that.
Yeah.
So, that sort of does give us a timeline which is like, you couldn't even dream of a Psycho sequel before that. But, they did the 3 years of grieving, and then they were like, okay, let's massacre his memory and steal all of his shots, ideas,
The sort of
iconography.
tenor of what he does. Let's do, it's
Yeah.
kind of like it's funny because you have the 1998 Gus Van Sant shot for shot remake, which by the way is not a shot for shot remake. I think what I waited
No.
for more than anything in that movie was when Norman comes into the barreling into the fruit cellar
Yeah.
at the end, because that to me is maybe the scariest part of the original Psycho, not the shower scene. Like that scene chilled me to the bone the first time I saw it. And then I was waiting for that scene in the remake, the shot for shot remake, and it was completely different. You know, you had it's kind of a shot of like, oh, I'm coming to get you. I mean, I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
my
it's
original point
people
was
love.
sorry, my original point was you have this shot for shot remake made in 1998, but all of these sequels, especially number 3, feel like shot for shot remakes in the first place. I mean, they're so they so echo what originally happened without what Alfred Hitchcock originally did.
It's one thing to acknowledge the legacy of the director of the original. That's something that all sequels have to deal with at some point. It's another thing to kind of plagiarize his
Right.
work.
Yeah.
which I think these movies are sincerely guilty of.
True. Well, we'll get into it when we watch them. I was
Yeah,
about to start
but
defending two already, but let's get into good or bad.
Oh yeah, we haven't done that
Yeah.
yet.
So you rank them 3, 2, 4. I rank them 2, 3, 4 in order.
Yeah.
Is number 2 a good movie for you or not?
No.
Well, I say it is a good movie.
Well, yeah. Well, as I said, intervention.
How dare you? How
No,
dare you, I
it's
say.
not. Uh, you mentioned you'd seen Psycho 4 about 6 months ago. I reckon I probably saw Psycho 2 6 months ago and then rewatched it for our purposes. So maybe I am, maybe I'm more fatigued than you are of this movie. But nonetheless, there is we said, what are the more egregious mistakes? And I think the most egregious mistakes of the franchise could possibly be in this film.
Oh man, we'll save it, but I'm fascinated to fight you.
Yeah.
What about number 3? Is 3 good or is 3 bad?
3's still bad.
Yeah, I listen. What? Okay, wait. Before we get there, what about number 4? Good, bad, or
Bad. Good. What comes after the or?
yeah? I realize that there is nothing to say after the or. It's just
Good, bad, or Psycho.
Well, I guess
4.
my problem was the after the or for me was, and this is why we set up this segment as good or bad, because you have to choose. But for me, in 3 and 4, like, I can't say they're good movies, but I feel a little bad just saying they're bad movies, because there's something there in each of them for me where I want to like them, but I can't because they fail on too many levels. So yes, both of them are bad movies for me. I wish I could, the or after the or for me was like, are they somewhere in between? And I feel like these two movies are somewhere in between. But if you have to pick a side, 3 and 4 are bad. For me, 2 is good.
Yeah, and while I was watching Psycho 4, I thought, well, this would make a good video essay if you were a film student. You could submit this to your thesis.
Right.
It would show that you thought about and kind of understood film as a concept.
You probably wouldn't fail the class.
You probably
You
wouldn't
could.
fail the class. You'll be like, oh,
You
there's
could.
some nice insights here. I mean, no one would make those choices in an actual movie based on this movie, but okay.
Well, now I'm just waiting with bated breath. Listeners, stay tuned, because Tom and I are going to hash out Psycho 2, Psycho 3, and Psycho 4. Tom ranks them 3, 2, 4. I rank them 2, 3, 4. I think at least one of them is good. I say number 2 is good and 3 and 4 are bad. Tom thinks all 3 are bad. And stay tuned in the coming weeks and listen to us hash it out. You excited, Tom?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. But I feel I feel guilty that I can't, that the redeeming qualities of this movie don't elevate them enough. I don't like saying all 3 movies or all the movies in a series are bad. And it kind of goes against our principle of let's forget about the original. But I feel like
but we've also
like,
mentioned that that's just hard
fight,
to do.
Where if you're in a fight and someone makes a comment about your mother, appropriately for this series, then you need to address that within the
you're
fight.
frozen
if
on
they
me.
keep it out of there, you can fight without talking about that.
Say it again. Sorry, you froze on me for a second there.
No, I said if you're having a fight and someone makes an abusive comment about your mother, I didn't mean this to be a direct comparison, but mothers are a big spoiler alert. Mothers are a
If you
big
don't
thing in
know,
these
listeners,
movies.
mothers will get involved in the Psycho series. Go ahead.
Then if the person you're fighting wants to make it about your mother, then you have to address that. If they keep your mother out of it, we won't talk about it. And I feel the same way with the originals of Psycho. If these films had not
Right, I get what you're saying.
exploited the memory of Psycho and tried to and kind of like feed on it like flies on a corpse, another appropriate metaphor. Then I would, then I'd want to be more generous, and see the good things in there. But I just, I feel like, okay, you wanted to be compared to the original. I'm gonna have to do it.
All right. Well, stay tuned, everybody. Tom is going to do that in the coming few episodes. We're going to be hashing out these movies. Thanks for sticking with us. Psycho, that's what's coming up next. And we'll see you on the flip side. Take care, everyone. Until next time. Does the coronavirus have you feeling oogie? Have you been sitting on your couch for weeks? Nay, have you been sitting on there for months? Well, it's time for you to get back in shape. Check out 2AT Fitness. You can find them on Instagram. You can find them on Facebook. 2AT Fitness was started by Tina Bernard. She is ready and raring to go to help you get back into the shape you want to get into. They've got all kinds of classes. They've got outdoor in-person classes. They've got online classes if that's what you prefer. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get back in shape. You're going to find a variety of exercises. You're going to have strength training, cardio, weightlifting, even fun 5-minute burnouts that will push you to your limits. So get off the couch, get into shape. Go ahead and check out 2AT Fitness. Tina Bernard has got you for all your needs. I know her personally. She's fantastic. You're not going to meet a better person to help you become the new you. Check it out.